And welcome to the Factor Uncensored. Thank you for joining us. Well, it seems everything truly is bigger here in the state of Texas, including the drama of partner snooping and infidelity. Recent data has exposed Texas as one of the leading states where the lines between privacy and suspicion are blurred. Relationship and sex expert Beth Darling joins us to talk about that data. Beth, this is an interesting one. They recently did a study across the country, and Texas ranked high with people who spy on their significant others. And according to the survey, Texas is among the states most likely to snoop on a partner who they suspect is cheating, with 35.3% of respondents admitting that they are guilty of spying on their partner. First of all, let's fully establish what cheating is, if you don't know, Beth.
Ooh, okay. Well, so in my mind, cheating is when you break a vow, when you break a boundary that you and your partner have agreed to. And so there can be sort of what we would think like micro cheating, where you just step a little bit too close, and then there can be kind of major cheating. So there's all sorts of lines. And every couple, every relationship has their own boundaries. So what that looks like for swingers, very different than what it looks like for somebody who's monogamous.
Right. For a swinger, you didn't get that approved, sir. You can do it, but you didn't get it approved. It has to be approved first.
That's right.
That's cheating in their situation.
Exactly. So I think that's an important distinction. Because, and it's funny, when you told me about this article, I told you yesterday, we literally just recorded a podcast episode talking about accidental cheating.
Now, what is accidental cheating for those? You just fell into bed with someone?
Well, right. It doesn't sound like most people are like, oh, hell no, right? There's decision there. But what I mean by accidental is that there are some people that intentionally, they set out, they join Ashley Madison, or they go on the prowl, and they, with full intention of getting naked and doing something with somebody else or starting a relationship, right? Accidental is more, actually, I think it's what happens more commonly, which is when people meet someone at work, a colleague, and they just slowly, the relationship starts deepening and strengthening. And suddenly now, they used to tell their partner, oh, I'm having lunch with this colleague. Now they're not mentioning it so much. Now maybe they're doing some late night texting,
And it feels like guilt if you stop telling, I'm having lunch with Susie at work.
That is exactly it. I think there is guilt. If there is any part of a person that's going, ooh, maybe I shouldn't do this, or maybe my partner would be upset by this, that you got to start thinking, now you're crossing that line. You can pretend you're not, but you are. And it's a question of how dangerous you're going to get with it, how far you're going to go.
When we talk about cheating, there's quite clearly physical cheating, but there's also emotional cheating. Explain what that is.
So, in my book, and we've mentioned this, I believe there are 5 kinds of intimacy that are that they are the substance for significantly fulfilling relationships. So emotional intimacy is great. We can have that with lots of people. I can have that with lots of friends, male or female. I think that, and what that is really when we get so close, when we feel like we are seen and we can be seen by somebody else, and we're okay with that. Where that can become cheating is where you don't want your partner to know about this relationship. You don't want your partner to understand how strong it is or how important it is, because perhaps there's even a little part of it that's overshadowing your relationship with your partner, right? You're thinking about this other person more than your partner. And I think that's what leads to the study that you gave me, because inherently we all have this intuition, right? Some of us are more attuned to it, but really we all kind of have that. When somebody is keeping something from us, there's part of our radar. We're not quite sure what's going on, but we're just like, wait a second, this isn't adding up. And when we get gaslighted because our partner says, no, everything's fine, nothing's going on, we start thinking we're crazy. And then in that craziness, that's when I think we start rifling through, because now we don't trust. And when we don't trust is when we snoop.
Yeah, and that could really harm a relationship and cause damage, irreparable harm, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because again, that's why cheating is so dangerous, is because it destroys trust. Well, you can destroy trust by snooping also. And I think if people become more, if we are more aware of the first little inklings and we deal with them sooner than later, that's when, that's when we can cut things off at the pass. We can say, you know what, honey, for some reason, things aren't adding up. You might be telling me the truth, but I'm not feeling it. And I'm suddenly thinking I need to go snoop. And that is not the person I want to be. So I think we got to figure out what's going on in our relationship.
And
And
Beth,
if you,
to have paranoia in a relationship where you don't trust someone, it's a situation that will really destroy that relationship. Let's get back to this study where they said more than a third of Texans admit to stalking a partner they suspect in cheating.
well,
Stalking.
I think they mean online stalking. At least I hope. But
Well, we're going to get to that.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
Separately. Okay. So yeah, if you follow, so I do know people who show up at workplaces to see if their partner's really working late and stuff. That can become a problem. And so the way
Beth,
I
they
tell
show
people,
up. Wait, I brought you lunch today.
yes,
Any
and you're
old
not
excuse will
there.
do.
Yeah, or they come home early. They're supposed to be away for 3 days on a business trip. They come home a day early without letting their partner know, just to see what's going on. And sadly, a lot of times, again, because our intuition is kind of good, if you're not a person who's generally felt this sort of paranoia before, then there probably is something going on. And really, again, before you lower yourself, you're better off addressing it face to face, I think. So it doesn't feel good to be a snoop. I know I've been crazy enough to want to do stupid things in the past, and I have done some stupid things in the
I
past.
think
I
we've
think we
all done
have.
stupid things, Beth.
Yes, we have. We have, right? And but they're certainly not my proudest moment. And I would hope, right, that we learn and we do better.
And welcome back to The Factor Uncensored. Turns out Texas is leading the pack when it comes to snooping on their partners. From checking text messages to turning into amateur detectives, Texans are giving new meaning to keeping an eye on their relationships. Let's talk about it a little bit more and what you can expect in this data release with Beth Darling. Next on that list, Texans are most likely to track their partner's location online.
Yeah. So that one, I'm not an online expert, but I guess if you share your locations, you can do that. I don't know if they do it secretly though, because I think that's a whole different, that could be a crime, frankly. But I guess if you share your location, then you're telling your partner it's okay to know where I am or to look and see where I am at any time. So I don't know what to say about that one. I was a little, but I mean, I do that still with some adult kids just because they're solo and I want to make sure that they're sort of safe if,
Right,
if I don't hear from them for 4 days. But
what are those things, those air tags or pod tags? Some people are slipping them on their significant other vehicles just to track. Technology is crazy out there. Also on that list,
that's horrible. And again, if you're thinking that's what you need to do, then this relationship is not as good as it should be. So it doesn't matter what you discover. It's just not.
Is it at that point that you should be looking like, okay, I need to just walk away from this? If you're on either end, if you feel so desperate, you have to put a tracker on, or if you learn that your significant other is tracking you, do you have to say, okay, I'm done with this?
Well, I guess that depends on the relationship, right? How invested you are. If this is only a 2 or 3 or 6 month of thing, I'm be like, get the hell out, right? This is not good. If you've been together 10 years, if you've got kids and a family and you think this is just things have escalated, maybe you do want to start. There's Esther Perel is a very famous relationship coach, therapist, and her quote I loved was that you can an affair is the end of one marriage, but it can be the beginning of another marriage, even to the same person. So, these things can shake things up and you both can emerge stronger and more connected if you deal with them properly. Right. I've seen that too, and it's beautiful, quite frankly. You wish it didn't have to happen.
Sometimes the second time or when you start over again is the best time.
Yes. Right. because hopefully, again, you've learned and you've seen how ugly it can be, and you don't want to do that. So I think it's just an individual situation. I would never say, oh, you have to get out if somebody cheated. And I would never say, no, you have to stay if somebody cheated or stalking. It
How many
really
times is too many
complicated.
times to cheat on someone?
Well, so I think there are people that are serial cheaters, right? There's something in them that is constantly doing that. There's a whole chemical theory about that too. But that is probably, that's like an addict, right? Somebody who is really doing something, even though they profess to not want it. I think that person's never going to stop unless they get some really, really serious deep dive.
Intense
But if
therapy.
somebody just does once, and certainly one night, I have this weird thing. If somebody just has a one night, oops, oh my God, I can't believe I did that. I've never done it. I'm never going to do it again. I don't think they should tell their partner. I think you keep that guilt and you do better from that guilt, but you don't throw it off on your partner if your intent is to stay.
Right.
That's just giving them the burden.
Yeah. More baggage for them, your baggage now that they have to deal with.
That's right. But I will tell you that I think that when sort of these accidental cheaters, i.e. good people who just let themselves go and they're not getting their needs met at home somehow, which is their responsibility, mind you. But then once they get away with it, if that affair ends without them being exposed, my experience says they are more likely to do it again, which is strange. Yeah. But somehow, if that affair has gone on long enough, they have found a way to basically live a double life. And they've gotten their needs met that way, which means they're more prone to be like, oh, this feels good. Let me go find it again.
Right.
And that becomes a problem.
And make sure you stay with us. We continue this conversation after the break. Welcome back to The Factor Uncensored. We now continue our conversation about these cheating-ass partners we have to keep an eye on here in Texas. 18.2% of the people say they go through their partner's pockets and belongings looking for signs of cheating.
Yeah. Again, you can imagine if you're doing the laundry, right? There are some innocent cases where that happens. But again, I think that real desire and that urgency just fosters an air of distrust that isn't good for either person, whatever you find, whether it's there or not. Because you never prove somebody doesn't cheat, right? You never prove the null set. So you have nothing to gain and everything to lose. And you might as well just deal with the problems there.
And of course, the number one cheater, giver-upper is the cell phone, the pictures, the messages. And of course, Beth, tell us a little bit about your podcast and of course, your book that's out.
Thanks so much. My podcast is Come With Us Podcast, and it's COME. No naughty words there. COME. Come With Us Podcast. Type the whole thing. It's on anywhere you listen to your podcast. We've got an episode on accidental cheaters that I think you'll find very interesting. And my book is The 5 Kinds of Intimacy: How to Keep Your Love Alive. And again, I think it's like, don't go to the grocery store when you're hungry. Well, if you walk out of your home, out of that relationship, for a day, a week, a weekend, and you're hungry for something you're not getting from your partner, you're much more susceptible to making bad decisions.
Sounds smart. Beth Darling, thank you for joining us here on The Factor Uncensored, and we will check out your podcast and your book on Amazon and, of course, on your website. Thank you, ma'am. Good to see you.